Well, thank you both for taking the time to be here for this today. We are going to be recording some questions from our baker team to help transition our new managers into their positions and help them understand what they need to be doing to help support baking in our cafes. So I am Shiloh Kim. If you guys don't know me, I'm the market support manager in Oklahoma City. Sam, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then Curtis, and then we'll kind of get into it from there.
Okay. I'm Sam Hardin. My claim to fame is that I am the longest surviving employee with this franchise. We're coming up on 28 years. So, and still no one knows me. So, and then Curtis.
Hi, I'm Curtis. I'm the baker training specialist in OKC and been working here since 2017. I was a baker for 2 years. In the last year and a half, I've been the BTS. It's been a great ride so far.
Good. So Sam, you mentioned you've been here the longest. Did you start out as a baker, or tell us a little bit about your story, your growth here with us?
Yes, I started as a baker. Jim Majors hired me. And I was a baker for 16 and a half years before I took the promotion because I liked baking. It was a great thing. I really enjoyed doing it. And then finally realized I probably wasn't going to be able to do it for another 30 years. So that was the point that I took the BTS promotion and did that for about a year and a half, and then got promoted to the BMM position in Arkansas. Was down there for almost 10 years, and then got moved up here when we sold the Arkansas market. And I've been here ever since and absolutely love Southwest Missouri. So Curtis has been my support out in Oklahoma City, and it was Gerard in Tulsa. He decided to step down. So that's kind of where we're at now, with Chris doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us on the baking side right now.
Very good. So Curtis, tell us a little bit. You mentioned that you started out as a baker. Tell us a little bit how long you were doing that, and then what made you want to become the BTS for Oklahoma City?
Well, I was baking for about 2 years, and I really enjoyed it, the night shifts, the kind of peace and quiet at night, getting to work hard. And around when the pandemic happened, our hours got cut quite a bit. So I was honestly actively looking for other jobs, and this thing came up as a way to get full-time hours. And I already enjoyed this job so much I really didn't want to leave in the first place. But so that's kind of how I ended up as the BTS. And
very good.
Still been here a year and a half, still working it out. Learning
that's
process.
Good. I see you're in your office right now. As a it feels like our office is usually our cars, I feel like.
Yeah, my cat wouldn't stop meowing. Anytime I get on the phone, she just starts going off. So
yeah.
I'd go to my car.
Yep, that's how my dogs are, actually. All right. Well, Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about what is the focus in the baking world right now? What's coming up? We have quite a bit of changes about to happen, I feel like, in our franchise. So
yes, absolutely. We're all in the process of transitioning to a second shift baking. And that's, you guys just had the call that you were on. So a lot of interesting things happening there. A lot of gears, a lot of different parts to put together, especially in Oklahoma City with a big market like that. It definitely is going to take a while to get that lined out and to get people all on the same page. So once we do get that, it's going to allow us to find more people to hire, more available employees. And it's going to be better communication. And actually, the bakers, once they get used to it, are actually going to like the shift better because they're going to be more like a normal person with their sleeping schedule. So that's going to be a huge thing. And then with that, we're going to be transitioning on to more products that are going to be baker friendly, let's call it. So items that aren't going to take as long to do, or even frozen products that we're going to pull out of the freezer and thaw and serve as is. So the goal is to reduce the stress on the baker from the 45 products that they have to create every night, and make the job a little bit easier. So that for the next year is going to be the focus for us in our franchise.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I feel like it's how much I have seen our bakers has really decreased in the last couple of years. So I'm really excited to get to know some of these bakers that have come on here that I really haven't got to meet yet. So very much looking forward to that. So what are some of the most common bakery issues that are in our franchise that we kind of see pretty commonly? And then what can we as managers in the cafe do to really help help that and support our bakery team.
You want me to answer that one too, or Curtis?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and then you, Curtis, if you want to add on to it, anything else you've got.
Okay. Well, we hold our bakers to a pretty high standard. The word gold standard is not, we're not fooling around with that. It's pretty serious. All bakers are expected to turn out gold standard bakes every night. Their area is left clean and in the same condition that it should be every day. So they don't, I always want to make sure we don't lose any points on audits because of bakers. So it's crucial that they do not just a fantastic job baking, but they leave their area, everything spotless and day dotted and all that. So I think one of the issues that they complain mostly about is coming into an area that's not left the way they left it themselves. So it can cause a little bit of friction to have to spend, 15, 20 minutes to clean up your area before you can get started. So that's going to be another difficult thing right now with switching to a 2 to 4 p.m. shift. When is the cafe going to have time to get back there and clean up that area? That's going to be something that's going to be difficult for a low volume cafe to get back there and clean up that area, you guys with your huge volume cafes, it's going to be even more difficult because they're still going to be, pushing out lunches, some of them at 2 o'clock. So, it's definitely going to have to be a give and take thing where we, take a minute and not get frustrated. But I do expect a lot of calls from bakers, saying basically that their area was not left the way that they left it when they cleaned up in the morning. So if we can get the managers on the same page with that would be wonderful. Also, the accountability part is crucial too, because with the bakers, leaving at, midnight, no one's going to be there when they check out. So they need to have open communication with the managers. The managers need to go back there and visit with those bakers and say, hey, why did you leave this over here? This is not supposed to be in this area. So, it needs to be more communication and that sort of thing. I've been doing the shift myself for quite a while over at one of our lower volume cafes, and it's been working out wonderfully. There's more room. The cafe team has been great. They've been very helpful, and we've kind of worked on a thing where I break down the produce in the coolers and they do my dishes for me. So that works out great. But they don't have to. I'll get back there and wash my own dishes. I don't mind doing that, and the bakers are expected to do that. So the communication, I think, is a huge part of the program. So Curtis, anything to add?
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on, the communication. Can't tell you how many times I go into a cafe and nobody talks to me. And, I've even had, managers just leave and then all of a sudden I'm in the building empty and I had no idea. Or we have add-ons come in that nobody talks about. Or we have an order for 40 cranberry muffins and we don't even have any cranberry muffins in the building. So having, communicating with your baker, going over the pan up with them even, will help the managers better understand it, because the bakers kind of know it back and front. And some of the managers don't know it as well. And I think communicating with them will help them know the product more and the pan up better.
Right. Well, and on that note, with racking up the dough at Campbell every day like I've been doing, I myself have had great encounters with managers. They've talked to me. They'll come up and ask me questions, and then I can ask them questions. And they'll bring back a special order, and I'll say, "Hey, wait just a minute. Go pan that up. You can't just hang that up because the baker's not here. So you need to at least get it out and start the product thawing." And the manager literally said, "I did not know that." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you should."
Like sweets products, like special orders that come in during the day, cinnamon rolls, they need to be thawed overnight. As if you blast them in the proofer, they're just going to melt. You know, so if special orders come in, there are frozen yellow doughs, those can easily be pulled or at least mentioned early in the shift so we can get it going, stuff like that.
Absolutely. So communicate.
Absolutely. I know that our baker training for the managers, for you guys, it used to be like a week long. I think at one point it was even like 2 weeks long, because baking is such a huge part of our company. Yes. But it has become, for the management training, it's only 1 to 2 nights now. It's so little. So there's definitely going to be a lot of things that our managers maybe don't know how to do that it's just like they didn't know you're supposed to do that. So that communication both ways is going to be super important to make sure that we're able to be successful with here. So managers, you've got to be open with your bakers and say, hey, what do you need from me? What can I do to help you? What can I do to make this easier on you? Whether you are doing it or you're assigning it to an associate. And then the other way too, they've got to be able to come and talk to you if they're having issues with something, and asking for assistance and knowing that, hey, you're there for them and you've got their back because we're a team. Because when you think about it, without our bakery product, we have, drinks. And that's about it. Everything else requires bread or something from our bakers. So we've got to make sure that we're a team with this effort. And again, I'm really excited about this change because I think it's going to really, really help those relationships and help build that up for the better. So
agreed.
Yeah, well, that is everything on the questions list. So thank you both very much for taking out the time out of your day to be here for this. And managers, as you have questions come up, don't hesitate to reach out to your baking team. Again, with this switch to daytime, hopefully you'll get to know these guys a little bit better and see them pretty frequently. I know our Tulsa managers currently don't have anyone there in the market, but as you mentioned, Chris, your AOP, he is available and very knowledgeable in these areas. But you can also still reach out to Curtis and Sam through email if you have questions or you need anything. So that is all I have. Do either of you guys have anything else to add?
No, but I did want to touch on one thing. You mentioned the training used to be a longer process. I myself trained Craig Fetter for a week, and then he went over to another baker and trained with him for another week. So that was when Craig was just, I think, 19, 20 years old. So talk about some history, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That
was the key to his success.
I don't know about that, but he's a hard worker. So.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you guys have a good night.